Back to Knits in the Wild. My name is Jen, and this is my podcast about knitting and spinning and sewing and a bunch of other crafty things that I like. Thanks for joining me today. It's great to have you with me. So it's been a while since I've recorded anything, and I'm doing this in the evening today, so there's no natural light, so apologies. I've got to do this whenever I have some free time, and most of the time that is after work, after I've done my workout, and today I had a little extra time, so I figured I would record something. So it's already halfway through February, which I can't believe. The winter has been pretty bad here. Normally I really love the winter time, and I spend a lot of time outdoors, but this year it's just been really cold and the weather hasn't been the greatest. We have got some snow, but it's just not the kind of snow that I like to go snowshoeing in or cross-country ski in, and I haven't really been able to get out as much as I would typically enjoy, so it's been kind of not the greatest. But looking forward to warmer weather, hopefully soon, but we'll see. The weather has been terrible here in upstate New York. All right, so let's get started with what I'm wearing. So as you can tell, I finished my Easy V sweater. This is a pattern by Caitlin Hunter that had been on my queue on Ravelry for a long time, and I finally decided I wanted to knit it. So I started it a couple months ago. The yarn I use is Knit Picks High Desert Worsted, which is one of their fancier yarn lines. It's still pretty affordable for what it is. I chose the color, I believe it's called Forge, this dark gray color for my main color. And then I used scraps for the rest of it. So some of this gray here is Cascade yarn Superwash Wave in the color Graphite, followed by the purple is some leftover Junction fiber mill making tracks. I used that for my framed sweater, my Rhinebeck sweater, and I had leftovers, so I used that for this. And then this color here, you can see, is my Handspun. So that is from fiber that I got from Akara Rose Handspun, and it is a 60-20-20 Polwarth wool, yak, and mulberry silk blend. So it's really soft. I didn't have much of it, so what I had I used up in the color work portion of this sweater. So the next color is the Cascade, the gray, and then again it repeats. The Junction fiber mill is this teal and purple, and then again on the bottom here is my Handspun. So here I'll give you a closer look of the color work there. So this sweater is meant to be an oversized, wide open neck sweater. I don't wear it as much as I would have liked because the back is extremely low and I get cold easily in the back of my neck. Gets pretty cold. I guess I could wear a t-shirt under it, but I'm not really a fan of how that looks. So I don't wear it as much as I should. I really do like it. Let me stand up and show you the whole thing. So it has a lot of positive ease. I believe I knit this size 3, and the color work is also on the sleeves. And the sleeves are pretty wide. You don't start decreasing in the sleeves until you get to the cuff. But I really like it. Yeah, so this is my Easy V. So next up I have a finished object to share. So this is it's another Caitlin Hunter pattern, and this is called the Sacred Sheep Hat. This was made out of all scraps that I had lying around. The gray here is Juniper Moon Farms Organic Merino in the color light gray. And then I held that together with some Dark Lake Fiber Arts Yak and Baby Alpaca in the natural gray color. That gray. And then the dark color is your West Yorkshire Spinners BFL DK in the colorway Bramble. You can see that. And I held that with Dark Lake Fiber Arts Yak and Baby Alpaca in the color Blackberry. So it does give you this really pretty marled look here on the brim, which I love. There's another better look at the hat. So the hat has a lot of options in the pattern. She has, I think, it written for a bunch of different weights, yarn weights, and also different lengths. If you want a really big, tall, floppy hat, you can knit the pattern longer. And if you want a short hat that's really fitted, you can knit it shorter. And I did the medium-sized one because I like it to have a little bit of extra room on the top, but not much. So actually it fits really well, and I'm happy with how it came out. It's very warm, and this is what the inside looks like, the color work. And it's very soft because I held it with that alpaca and yak blend that I love. It is by a dyer that I found on Etsy, actually. And I really like that lace weight yarn. I will link them below if you're interested in checking her out. So yeah, that is my Sacred Sheep Hat by Caitlin Hunter. So next up, I will talk about some of my works in progress. So I have a couple of things on the needles right now. I am still working on my Cotswold Sheepskin. So this is a pattern I started not that long ago. It's basically like a throw, and I think I shared it on my last episode of the podcast where I talked about the yarn and how excited I was to make it. But it is a pattern by Alexandra Tavel, and the yarn is Lion Brand Shaggy Chic. And it's basically this like really fuzzy yarn that mimics wool, like raw wool. and it's got these long strings on it, and it's really cool, and it's extremely soft, and it looks like a sheepskin, which I think is just so cool. And the pattern increases and decreases and makes it look like an actual sheepskin. So I thought that was really cute and a really good idea, because I've always kind of wanted one of those, but I actually like didn't want to buy one. So I can make a faux sheepskin with this yarn, and it's really awesome. So the ball of the yarn is this huge fuzzy ball of yarn. And it's kind of tricky to knit with because it's hard to see your stitches. Like this, it's virtually impossible to see the stitches in here. You just have to kind of figure it out if you leave off somewhere and you're not sure where you are. But just make sure to keep track of the pattern, where you are in the pattern, if you ever decide to make this, because it would be hard to figure out where you are, I think. But it's a really quick knit. I am almost done with it. I just put it down for a little bit because I was working on something else, so that I will share with you next. So that's my Cotswold sheepskin throw. So my next work in progress is another sweater. Oh, as my yarn goes flying. So I'm knitting another Caitlin Hunter pattern that had been in my queue for a really long time. I'm finally making the Birkin. So here's what I have so far. If you can see. So I wanted a dark one because I don't have that many. Well, I'm wearing a dark sweater, but I really just wanted a darker color. So this yarn is Harrisville Design Shetland. This is a skein of that main color in the color Ebony. So this is a fingering weight sweater, and this is woolen spun yarn, which is what the pattern calls for. I believe the pattern itself calls for Brooklyn Tweed's Loft, which is a woolen spun yarn. I have made a sweater with Loft before, and I loved it. But this is priced a little bit better, more affordable, I think. So I went with the Harrisville Designs Shetland. It's not as soft as the Loft is, but it's a really good workhorse yarn that, will hold up really well, I think. So this is what it looks like knit up. You can see it's kind of like heathered. So this sweater is interesting because I'm knitting the size 3, and I can tell it's going to be a little oversized, but the shoulder area seems to be a bit narrow. This is the back, but I tried it on, and the neckline seems to stick up a little bit, which is kind of unusual. Like you can even see, like, it's kind of narrower than my shoulders right now. I don't really know why. I mean, it could be because I didn't do a gauge swatch, so my gauge could be off. That could very well be possible. But I was feeling lazy and I didn't feel like knitting a swatch, so I didn't. But my hope is that blocking, I can get some width out of the shoulder area because I'm gonna need that up here. But the body, on the other hand, is massive, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be huge down here. Right now it's on needles that are really short, but I think it's gonna be pretty big at the bottom here, but we'll see. I put a lot of work into this already, so I was very hesitant to rip it out when I realized that the shoulders were gonna be kind of narrow. And I had read in some of the pattern or some of the projects on Ravelry that some people had that issue. but some people had no issue at all, so I'm not really sure what's going on, but I'm hoping that it's just something that will block out after I'm done, and hopefully it'll fit fine. So we will see. So the other yarn I used all scraps. Well, that's not true. This is a scrap. This is the color Postcard from Loft, or Brooklyn Tweed Loft, in the color Postcard. And this was the yarn I had left over from the sweater I made a couple years ago. And then this color was a color I ordered specifically for this project. It's Harrisville Designs in Delphinium, the purple. Let's see if I can get closer here. And then the light pink is scraps I had left over. This is Brooklyn Tweed's Loft in the colorway Postcard. It's a light pink. And then the dark pink here, or the maroon, or whatever you want to call it, this is another Brooklyn Tweed Loft in the color Venezia, and that I got on sale on, I think it was Firefly Fibers website, where I ordered this from. And then I think that's it. And then the colors repeat down at the bottom. But it's a really lovely floral colorwork motif that I really like. I'm just hoping it fits when I finish. My last project I have on the needles is a cowl. So I'm really on this kick of wanting to use up my stash because I have so much yarn, and it's all beautiful yarn, and I would love to like use it. So I'm using up some sock yarn that I got in Farmer's Daughter Fiber Sock Club. I want to say like 2 years ago I was in their sock club. And it is this beautiful pink hand-dyed colorway, which I don't know what it's called. I threw the label out many years ago, or a while ago, so I don't know the name of it. But it's one of their sock yarns. And then I'm holding it with this gray mohair that I had lying around. So I'm making a Andrea Mowry traveler cowl in a toddler size for my friend's baby. Well, she's 1.5 almost, but this is going to be a cowl for her. And I already showed her, and her reaction was, ooh. So I hope she likes it. I hope she wears it. I don't know about I assume that toddlers can wear this kind of thing because it was made for a toddler and a toddler size. So hopefully she will wear it, and it'll keep her warm on her winter adventures. So I'm almost done with this. I just have to finish a couple more pattern repeats, and then I will block it and then seam up the back. So it will be, this is gonna be how it'll be, and then you'll seam up the back like that, and then this is what it will look like, basically. It'll be like a little cowl for her. So here's what this looks like up close, if you can see. The color is beautiful. Makes me happy just knitting on it. And it's really soft and squishy. So again, that's the Traveler Cowl by Andrea Mowry. I have made one of them for myself a couple years ago, and I really enjoyed it. So I also made the hoodie, the Traveler hoodie. It's a very relaxing stitch pattern, but I find I do have to pay attention to figure out, so I know where I am in the pattern, but it's not that bad. So it was living in my Stitched by Jessalou bag, which is a semi-local bag maker here in upstate New York. I'm not sure exactly where she's from, but I know she's been at Rhinebeck and has been at some other craft fairs or some other wool festivals that I have attended. And this is one of my favorite bags. It's got this cute little sheep that's knitting, and it looks kind of like antique-y, but I love it. One of my favorite project bags. All right, so another thing that I have been doing a lot of recently is, I was going to say spinning, but that's not true. I did finish a skein of yarn, which I forgot to pull out. Please hold. I actually have no idea where that yarn is at the moment, so I won't be able to show you. One more place it could be. I found it. Alrighty, so the yarn I made recently, I think it was in like December or January when I had some time off of work, was this lovely skein of Handspun. There it is up close. So this is from some fiber from Nest Fiber's Fiber Club. I want to say 2023 is when I joined that club and got a bunch of fiber and finally spun it up. I couldn't tell you what it is. It feels like it could be maybe Merino and Falkland, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I'm just pulling names of sheep out of thin air. And I think the colorway was called Clementine because it's got a lot of oranges in here. And I also think I used some leftovers from another spin that I had done. These blues and stuff. And these greens, I think, are from a different spin. So let's just call it a combo spin. Okay. It's really soft. It's not a color I would typically use or wear. So I will probably, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Give me your recommendations. If you have any recommendations for me to use, of a way for me to use this yarn, let me know. Because I'm not sure. I've got a lot of it. Did I measure it? No. Did I weigh it? No. My spinning is not that technical because I just spin fiber. I don't really pay attention to any of that stuff, which I probably should, and I should keep track of my hand spun, but I don't. I also ordered some more fiber, which I don't really have any business doing because I have some fiber that I'm selling to spin. But I couldn't resist these colors because they're so pretty, and I feel like when I signed up for the Nest Fiber colorway or Nest Fiber Club, I was really into like pastels and bright colors, and now I'm kind of just not. Taste change. I mean, what can I say? So I ordered these two colors, and my apologies for the plastic, but I'm not going to take them out of here because I'm trying to keep them clean. So this is from Banshee Fiber Arts. And can you see the color? It's like this dark braid, and this is 100% Corriedale Cross. And the color, I have no idea. Doesn't say. But that's that. And then this one is 100% Cheviot wool. And this is a 4 to 5 inch staple length and a 27 micron count. If you can see the colors, it's kind of hard to see it. But here's this other one. The Corriedale Cross is a 3 to 4 inch staple and a 27 micro count as well. So those are my two latest purchases of fiber. So I really got to get back into spinning because I like it. And I try to use my Handspun as much as I can. And those colors are appealing to me, so I could probably make something with color work or a cowl or a shawl. But the more I think about it, the more I don't really want to make shawls because I don't wear them really as much anymore. I mean, I love shawls, but I just don't wear them as much. I wear cowls a lot. I will wear a cowl at work in my office because it gets so cold. And they're just easy to throw on and they look cute with outfits. I'll probably just make cowls from now on. So the next thing that I was going to mention is that I have been on a sewing kick, and last weekend and the weekend before I went through this sewing frenzy and I sewed 4 garments. I've been really into making athleisure wear, which is interesting because I started out my sewing journey making bags, which I haven't made a bag in a while, but I really enjoyed learning how to make bags and project bags and tote bags and that kind of thing. But I love wearing athleisure wear and buying athleisure wear, so I figured I would make sweatshirts, and that way I could wear my own, piece of clothing that I made. So I had a pattern that I bought, I want to say like 2 years ago now, called the penny pullover, and I will link that down below. But I had this pattern that I had printed out a while ago, and I finally sat down and put it all together because it was a print at home pattern, and that is time consuming. But I just put on an audiobook and then put the pattern together and then cut it out and then cut the fabric out. So my first penny pullover is made with fabric I found at Joann's, which, can we just take a moment of silence for Joann's? I'm sure we all know what's going on with Joann's. I'm losing my Joann's here in Albany, and it's pretty devastating because that's where I go to buy like bobbins and sewing machine needles and other things that I might randomly need for a sewing project. But anyway, so here's my penny pullover, this is my very first sewn sweatshirt ever. And it's not perfect, obviously, but it fits pretty well. I left off the bottom band because it didn't look like it was going to be big enough for the bottom of the sweatshirt, and my hemming is not good at all. It looks terrible, but it's a comfy shirt. Another place I really struggle with is the collar, and the collar looks like this in the back because the fabric got bunched up. But what can you do? This is my first one, give me a break. This will be my gardening shirt or something, I don't know. But it looks cute. Anyway, the next one I made was a pattern called the Page Hoodie, and this one came out a little bit better, but it's kind of hard to show you what it looks like without putting it on. But this is some organic French terry sweatshirt fleece that I bought from IC Fabric, an online fabric retailer. Anyway, the hood on this sweatshirt gave me so much trouble. I had to rip it out twice because I had put it together wrong. I sewed it on wrong. It was a disaster. But that's how you learn, right? So I mean, it does look pretty cute on. I can like throw in a photo, but like the sleeves came out really good, I think. I mean, the seams don't really match up there, but I think the gathered sleeves came out pretty good. The bottom, I don't know what it is with. I mean, I guess it's supposed to be gathered in at the bottom on the band, the bottom band. But I ordered ribbing to match the material, and it came out really good. This is the underside. This is my favorite color, if you can't tell. But this is my hoodie. There. Does that look a little better? The front here I messed up on. Right there. I mean, these are just things that I don't know. It's very cropped also. Very cropped. I would have added a couple more inches to the body had I known it was going to be so cropped, but it's cute. So then my third project, I think this one came out the best, to be honest. This is the toaster sweater, and I don't know the name of the designer, but this is a pattern that I bought I bought the hard copy of the pattern and cut out my size and then use those like the pattern pieces for that, which I don't know which I prefer because those pattern pieces are so flimsy. I'm like afraid I'm going to rip them while I'm, cutting things out. But anyway, this is the toaster. Now this one came out much better. It actually looks like a sweatshirt. It's made of this very thick fleece with a Sherpa lining on the inside. It is so warm. It's a little more fitted than I would like, but it fits. And I like that the collar stands up. It looks really kind of polished, I think. I think my seaming looks a lot better in this one. I mean, not here, but it's not too noticeable. This one's a little bit better. But yeah, this is the toaster sweater. And I believe this one has two versions, toaster 1 and 2, and I had meant to make the number 2 version because it had a more open neckline, which I would have preferred, but I accidentally printed. I'm wrong. The page hoodie, the one I just showed you, is the one that I ordered the hard copy of. This one I printed. So the page hoodie comes with 1 and 2 versions. This is version 1 with the high neck. Version 2 has an open neck. I hadn't printed that version, and I had already started making this, so I don't have a printer at home, so I would have had to go print another version of it, and I didn't want to do that. So this is version 1 of the toaster hoodie. I do like it a lot. I debated wearing it for this video, but I figured I would just wear my sweater that I made. So my final garment is another page hoodie, except for this doesn't have a hood because I screwed up the hood so bad after I had been knitting all day and just said, screw it, I don't want a hood on this one. So this is the front. This is the front, yes. So this is another version of that without the hood. There's a hack that you can download on their website with just the printout for the collar band, so the neck band, and then an optional pocket, which I had cut out the pocket, but I haven't added it yet, and I don't know if I'm going to. But this fabric is this gorgeous sweater rib fleece from Surge Fabric Shop, and I should have mentioned this one is also from Surge, and this is a Polar Tech ribbed fleece that is just beautiful. Very structured, very thick. This one is more drapey and more like cozy, definitely cozy. But again, this one is the page hoodie. It's extremely cropped, which I think is cute. But yeah, the page sweatshirt. And so I need to figure out a better way, because my God, my seams are disgusting. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I was looking into getting a serger, but I don't think I need to spend the money on that because I'm a beginner and I don't think I'm going to be doing this that frequently. And you can definitely sew knit garments without one. All right, so those are my 4 sweatshirts / pullovers that I made. Honestly, I don't think they look that bad. You can kind of tell they're handmade, but that's fine. At least I'll have something to wear for me, Made May. So thanks for tuning in if you made it this far. Yeah, so hope everyone has a really great rest of the month. I'm not sure when I'll be able to share my next podcast because I don't know what I will have done and how long it's going to take. So on that note,